Welcome to Rewatch and Rank. On this channel, we rewatch older TV shows, provide a summary and opinion on the episode before ranking each episode against each other. Today's episode is Naruto Prologue Land of Waves Arc, episode 18, The Weapons Known as Shinobi. Episode in a nutshell is a brief reminder of what happens in the episode. So we start with Inari going door to door, trying to gather the villagers to make a stand with him, but the villagers have given up, and so all of his running around falls on deaf ears. We then return to where Naruto is confronting Haku. Haku, of course, has just done his utmost to get us all to be empathetic and sympathetic towards his tragic past, and is now asking Naruto to kill him. Naruto, of course, resists this, but eventually he gives in and he goes to attack Haku, who then changes his mind, stops Naruto before going and getting between Kakashi and Zabuza, sacrificing his life to the Raikiri so that Zabuza can survive. Zabuza can't really show any sort of emotion at this point because Haku has his weapon, and so he tells Haku that he did a good job, and he tries to attack Kakashi through Haku's body while he's trapped on Kakashi's arm. Kakashi, of course, dodges, lays Haku's body down to rest, and returns to his fight with Zabuza, eventually crippling both of his arms. And meanwhile, there are flashbacks, of course, to Haku's past with Zabuza, because he is passing away. Sakura sees Naruto, who then looks upset when she asks about Sasuke, and then she and Tazuna go and cry over Sasuke's unconscious form. And then, at the very end of the episode, last thing that happens is while Kakashi's telling Zabuza that, you're done, you can't make hand signs anymore to, control your chakra or do jutsu because you've been crippled in both arms, Zabuza and him are interrupted by Gato's arrival, alongside all of his other goons, lesser goons, because none of them are at the Jonin level like Zabuza is. And our cliffhanger is basically Gato's arrival. So now we've been reminded about what happened in the episode, time to rank the episode first on our mostly objective ranking list, followed by the personal ranking list. So we had the single arc main character development, which was that Haku died. We then had the successful emotional impact because Haku died. And I found that it was successful because in the previous episode, they put in a lot of effort to telling us Haku's backstory, where he came from, the tragedy that his life has been so far, and then to see him go out, sacrificing himself for someone who treated him as a weapon but still meant so much to him. It pulls on the heartstrings because they went out of their way to humanize him, to gain him empathy. We saw him gathering herbs to protect Zabuza and heal him, having that conversation with Naruto about their important people and how they need to protect them. Then, he doesn't really try hard to kill them, even though he could have killed them easily. He kind of plays around with them, keeping them distracted from the adults. And then, of course, he tells Naruto his backstory, and now he's dead, and it's even though he was a villain, he was one of those sympathetic villains that when he died makes you feel something. I'm not giving points for resolved battle yet because technically, even though Zabuza's arms are now crippled, he hasn't given up, at least not verbally yet. So I'm not counting the battle as completely finished in this episode, which is why it's not getting points. And then I could also have given negative messaging or behavior for the fact that Zabuza was going to or planning to go through Haku's body to get to Kakashi. However, the reason I didn't take points is one, he didn't actually do that, and two, I don't think Haku would have minded because Haku willingly sacrificed his life for him. So I really don't think he would mind if Zabuza's victory was gotten at the cost of going through his body, because that's just the type of character that he is. And so I decided ultimately, out of respect for Haku, not to take those points. This is where this bias and judgment can apply on the mostly objective rank values comes into play. So ultimately, I just gave those points, the Haku dies points, and the successful emotional impact of Haku's death points, which makes this episode a 5 out of 10. And that brings our mostly objective ranking to in first, enter Naruto Uzumaki, Sasuke and Sakura, friends or foes. You failed Kakashi's final decision, a dangerous mission, journey to the land of waves, the assassin of the mist, oath of pain, the broken seal, white past, hidden ambition, Kakashi Sharingan warrior, my name is Konohamaru, the forest of chakra, pass or fail survival test, battle on the bridge, Zabuza returns, Haku secret jutsu, demonic mirroring ice crystals. This episode came in 15th. The weapons known as shinobi. Then we have the land where a hero once lived. The number one hyperactive knuckle-headed ninja joins the fight, and then zero visibility, the Sharingan shatters in 18th. Next, we come to my personal ranking, and this could just be a consequence of my shorter than average attention span, but I did feel like some of the parts dragged out. For example, they used a lot of flashbacks that we had just seen in the last episode, which made parts of the episode kind of boring because it's like literally just seen this before last week. It's not enough time for me to forget about them, so it's not fresh, it's not new. Meh. And then Haku dying was depressing. So I think that was a big milestone for this arc that he dies this way. Um, there is also, Sakura crying over Sasuke. Honestly, at this point, not a fan of Sakura. I think she does get better with age. Like in Shippuden, I think she's fairly good. Maybe, if I'm remembering correctly, she's bearable by the end of this first half of the Naruto series. Um, and like I said, in Shippuden, I think she grows on me there, but I don't know, this early Sakura, not a fan, to be honest. So, the fact that she basically, her job is to guard Tazuna, and he knows that she wants to prioritize Sasuke, and so he then offers to go with her to where Sasuke is, and then she makes a speech about how you're not supposed to do something while you're actively doing it, because it just becomes redundant at that point. So I wasn't fond of that part. Naruto is kind of just grieving both Haku and Sasuke, I think, at this point. So he's kind of standing there, gritted teeth. Um, However, I did enjoy the fight scene between Zabuza and Kakashi. Overall, I thought it wasn't the worst episode, but I felt like it had some flaws and there were just things about it that I wasn't happy with. Like I said, a bit boring. So I ultimately decided to give it a 6 out of 10 because while I do think that it was very relevant to the arc and we're setting up for the next arc. Oh, and I even forgot about Nari. It was so forgettable because I also don't like Nari as a character either. So yeah, 6 out of 10 I think was the most generous I could be. Um, And that brings our personal ranking to in first, The Broken Seal, White Past, Hidden Ambition, The Oath of Pain, A Dangerous Mission, Journey to the Land of Waves, My Name is Konohamaru, The Assassin of the Mist, Pass or Fail Survival Test, Enter Naruto Uzumaki. This episode does come in ninth place, The Weapons Known as Shinobi, followed by You Failed, Kakashi's Final Decision, Sasuke and Sakura, Friends or Foes, Zero Visibility, The Sharingan shatters, Kakashi Sharingan warrior, the number one hyperactive knuckleheaded ninja joins the fight. Um, Haku's secret jutsu, demonic mirroring ice crystals. Battle on the bridge, Zabuza returns, the Forest of Chakra, and in last place is the land where a hero once lived. Which brings us to our final segment, which is series ranking so far. I'm having brain freezing issues. The mostly objective ranking for this arc is at 130 out of 190. Personal ranking side is at 108 out of 190. But with that, we have now rewatched and ranked Naruto Prologue Land of Waves arc, episode 18, the weapons known as Shinobi. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you in the next episode, which is also the finale of this arc.